Okay, let's try this again using my iMac, just the recording software that it has. Going to be a edit of a photo that I took of my nephew for his high school senior picture, and we're going to be editing it in the Adamski style with the Adamski Effect. Who invented this style? I guess you could say he invented it. He uses it on his photographs. You're now seeing Photoshop open, and we're going to use that photo here. And I may add a image of the other type of photo I used, which is the ocean there that turned out pretty cool looking. But for now, we're just going to open the image of my nephew here into Photoshop. And it opens up into Adobe Camera Raw. The effect is best used on images which has your subject standing alone or to themselves, or with a solid background, or a background not as busy as this one. But this will work. Before we start, though, I wanted to read you a little quote that from Josh Adamski himself. He was asked about his process, and he says, "After I take the shots and move on to the process of editing, I sometimes like to continue the original flow of nature and translate it to editorial motion in order to provide my own interpretation." So the effect that he uses in some of his photos is kind of like his own vision of what he wants us to see in the photo. And as I'm editing photos, since the beginning of this year, I'm trying to be more vision oriented, which is to say, before I even go take my camera anywhere, I try to think of a vision of what I want to photograph and how I want the viewer to see it. And when I'm editing, I try to keep that in mind. But sometimes you just want to do stuff for fun, and basically this edit for the Adamski Effect that I've been learning has been more for fun and just trying something new and keeping my mind busy in the cold months of the winter season here in the Northeast. So we're going to edit this photo, and we start out by I always start out editing my photos just doing the basic tone adjustments on them. And so let me see, I want to get this back to the original, so we're just going to reset everything on this. And I usually just hit the auto button if I don't decide to crop it. And this one, I don't know, I like to have the subject like right here on one of the lines, this is the rule of thirds here. I mean, you can pay attention to that guide if you want to, or you can even change it. There is different style guides you can use. This is just thirds right here, so we're gonna leave it like that, and we hit the return key or the enter key on a PC. I have a Mac, so the keys are going to be kind of different, the ones that I use. After I make the basic crop like that, I'll just hit the auto button over here and just give it a basic little tone adjustment. It does its thing here. And if I was editing this photo for my nephew, I would do just a little bit more colorization maybe, and clear it up, do a little make it shine a little bit better. But for this photo, this edit here, and we're just going to use it just like this. So not going to do much else to it other than to click open here, and it will open it up into Photoshop. And so now we have it open in Photoshop here, and the first thing we need to do is we need to isolate the subject here. And to do that, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can come up here to your the bar up here. I forget the name of this bar. It's just a bar. It's got the select subject button here, and you can also go to select, and then you can go to select and mask, or you can go to let me see, image, or just select subject. Right here it is. You can go to select subject, which we'll just tap on that. Let Photoshop select our subject, and I can see it did a pretty good job. To clean it up, we can go to select and then down and select and mask. And this image don't really need any cleaning up. We will do the decontaminate box here and click that. And we're going to output this to a new layer over here. And then we're going to click OK. And now we have our subject isolated. And if we do that, after we do that, we need to go back to our background layer, turn it back on, and turn the background copy, turn that layer off, go to our background layer. And now we need to remove our subject from the background, which is easy to do. It's another it's a real loose selection around our subject, and I'm using a Wacom tablet, which makes things a little bit easier. So we'll minimize our image a little to make it so we won't have to make gigantic strokes around here with our selecting the subject. So we'll use the lasso tool up here, and we're just going to make a loose selection all the way around him like this, and down and around and this way and up until they meet. And now we have our loose selection, and we're going to use the generative fill, but we're not actually going to fill it with anything other than what's in the background there. So we click generative fill, and when it asks us up here, what would you like to generate? Well, we don't want to really generate anything. We just want to take him out of the background, so we just click on generate. And it sends it up to the Adobe Cloud and does magic and gives us 3 images over here to choose from. And it's already on the first image there, and that looks wonderful. Simply amazing how that does that. So here's the second one. We can choose that one if we want to, or this one. They're all, they're all great images to use. So we'll just pick the middle one there. And after we do that, we need to merge the generative fill layer with the background layer. And so to do that, on a Mac, it's Command E. And on the PC, I think it's Control E. So we'll hit Command E, and there's merged our layers. We go back up and turn our background layer on, and we're back where we started. How fun is that? So in order to continue, it is advisable to go ahead and make a smart layer on the background layer here, so you can go in and re-edit your blur if you don't like how it looks. So to do that, you can go up to filter and then convert for smart filters. Click on that, and now you can tell it's a smart filter because it has that little smart object thumbnail. Smart object, smart filter, same thing right there. And now what we can do is we can go to filter, blur, motion blur, and voila, there you have it. Now we're all done. Oh, there's a few more things you can do if you want to. If you like the way it looks, you can just click OK, and that's fine. If you don't want to do any more to it, click OK, and OK, you can just export it or save it, however you want to do that. But I do want to show you that, we'll get back in the editing panel here, what we want to do. You can change a few things, a couple things here. The distance of your motion blur, you can back that off if you don't, if you want to, if you like that look better. And as I mentioned earlier, the look that you're going for can depend on your background. I mean, if it looks too busy, don't use it. Find an image with a different background. I kind of like that look there. And you can change the angle of this blur too, clicking and holding and dragging this. Let's make it go straight up. How does that look any different? You can enter in a figure 90. Straight up. Kind of like the look of that. Click OK. And then we're done. If you want to add anything else to it or work on the image a little bit more, you can go to Filter and open it back up into Camera Raw. Now this is just going to adjust your background here, your blur. It's not going to adjust your subject because you already did the tone adjustment. You can either, if you want to play around with the contrast or the exposure, whatever. I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm not going to do anything else to it, and we're going to call this image done. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't find enjoyment out of it, hit that thumbs down button twice. Ha ha ha. Appreciate you guys coming by. If you did really enjoy the video, please like and then subscribe and hit the notification bell and be notified when my next video drops. Take care, be easy, and be safe, stay safe, and as my good friend Marvelous Marv always says, until next time, until next video, y'all be easy. Peace.